Hello, everybody. Today, let's talk about fear. Some of my real talks, we cover fear, and we'll cover it a lot because fear is the number one thing that holds many, many people back into their, whatever you want to call it, enlightenment, spiritual awakening, whatever the cool words are this week. But it's also what holds many people back from just enjoying life, enjoying the experience that you're given while you're here. That kind of fear, the fear covers so many different aspects of our experience that I will go into many as we go along. But today we're going to talk about the fear of the future. And we're going to talk about how we can fight the future. And anybody that's an X-Files fan will know where that came from. I made a recent real talk called If Not Now, When? And that covers a lot of what we're going to go over today. What it is that we have a fear that our future is not guaranteed unless we make enough money. And so there are plenty of you who are listening, and there are plenty of people who aren't listening, who do everything they can to just keep on making money. But yet they're not enjoying that money. Because they're hoping that someday they'll be able to enjoy that money. They're hoping that someday in the future I can buy that lake, that house on a lake that I always wanted, that I put on Facebook every other day of some cabin on a lake. We all see those pictures. And that's what I'm working 90 hours a week for. Or I'm working 90 hours a week to pay the bills right now because the rich keep getting richer and they keep raising the bills. That's definitely a part of it. But what I'm getting at is, what happens is that we've gone from, living to die and dying to live to working to die and dying to work. And there's nothing wrong with saving money for your future. There's nothing wrong with planning. In the last real talk, I talked about planning. Your future is not guaranteed, but there's nothing wrong with planning for it. You don't want to take my advice and be like, oh yeah, he's right, I'm not going to plan for anything, and then hit 65 and have no money. You don't want to be in that spot. Heck, you don't want to be in that spot at 50, trust me. But you'll eventually come to a point where you're going to ask yourself, if you haven't already done it, and if you haven't already done it every single day for the last 10 years, when you say, why am I putting in all this effort and all this work for something that, one, I don't even enjoy doing, and two, if I can't enjoy it? And you'll say, well, your ego will say, well, because, we need this money so we can buy that house on a lake, or we can go on that really crazy Disney World vacation in 5 years, or this and that. Now, I'm not saying take all your money right now and go out and do that Disney vacation. If you got bills to pay your bills. Unfortunately, in this experience that we're all living, whatever you want to call it, however you want to phrase it, whatever you want to believe, you're in an experience right now, bills exist. There's no getting around it. Doesn't matter where you're from what I can tell, everybody's got to pay bills. But if all you're doing is working and saving money, or trying to save money for some future that you're not guaranteed, and you're miserable right now in your experience, right now in the now, you're miserable and you're worried about everything, and you're fearful of this and fearful of next week and fearful of tomorrow and fearful from yesterday still, what is the point? See, they want you to continue to do that. Who's they? Well, like I said, you got to be careful what I say. The funny part about YouTube is that more spiritual channels are shadow banned than religious channels. Because they talk about they. But anyways, they want you to continue to go to your 9-to-5 box and put in your work, then come home to your box and sit there and be miserable. They want you to make just enough money to pay their bills, and just enough money so that you can get in your box on 4 wheels, drive down to the big box, go inside, buy a bunch of boxes that are on sale on Black Friday, take those boxes, bring them home to your home box and put them in there. They want you to do that. They want you to have just enough little bit of money so you can think that you're happy. But all of you know, just as well as I do, that all those things that you buy, those little boxes, they all wear off eventually. And you're never truly happy. They want you. They tell you, hey, you got to plan. You got to do this. You got to do that. Because if not, you're going to be broke and you're going to be on the streets at 65. And that could very well happen. It really could. But at the same time, they want to keep you in fear. They want to make sure that you keep going for money. I've said it in a recent video that sex sells as well as fear. Well, so does money. So does greed. Greed sells. Every other commercial that's not about fear or every other commercial that's not about sex will be about how you can make more money. But the problem is, you can make all the money in the world. I have friends that work 60 hours a week. They make over $100,000 a year, yet they don't do anything all year long. And I said, well, why don't you go on a trip or a vacation? Well, I can't. I don't have it like you. I can't just do that. Have it like me. I don't make any money. I'm broke as far as standards go, but I'm happy because I live within my means. And when you say you can't just pick up and go like me, that's because I do plan, even though I know that it's not guaranteed. But by accepting that I only buy what I need and not what I want, also just did a real talk on that, I'm able to save up to go and do things. Okay? Now, I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to be able to do those things, but at least I can plan for it. I'm not planning for something 20 years down the road. I'm 50. I'm done planning. I'm living now. And it doesn't mean you have to hit 50 to do that. You should start doing this. If you're 20 and you're listening to this, enjoy life. Enjoy your experience. Stop letting them tell you you have to be fearful of everything. Stop letting them tell you that you have to plan for a future that has nothing in it that's guaranteed at all. Listen, money and religion are basically the same exact thing. They were both created to control you. 300,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens came upon this earth, when we graduated from Homo erectus, yes, I said erectus, move on. But when we graduated, even our ancestors before Homo erectus, they didn't have money. They didn't come out of the cave and go, hey man, can I borrow $10? I need to go buy a T-Rex burger. It wasn't there. Yes, gold, silver, all that came along eventually, barter, that all came along. But that came along for control. I won't get too deep into the conspiracy theory on that right now, but I can guarantee you that if you look into it, you'll see what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, though, is that same Homo sapien, that same caveman said, hey, I need food. So he went out and got food. I need something to keep me warm. So he went out and got something to keep him warm. And when he had to defend himself, he defended himself. He didn't go out and buy 15 machine guns. But also, when that caveman decided that I need some me time, I don't want to go hunting for saber-toothed tigers today. I want to just go and enjoy that big, bright orange blob in the sky. And he walked over to a cliff and he sat there and he enjoyed it. He didn't wait 20 years to do it. He enjoyed it while he could. He lived in the now. Look at any animal around you. They're living in the now. Animals are a perfect example. They're living right now. They have no idea what the future is, and they already forgot about their past. Live like the dog. So, if our ancestors could do it, why is it that we don't do it anymore? And the reason we don't do it anymore is because of the fear. The fear that is instilled with us, that has been instilled into us for centuries. Well, you have to have money. You have to have a job. You have to have this. And again, folks, I'm not saying quit your jobs tomorrow. What I'm saying is reanalyze what your job is. Is your job just there so you can be miserable and hopefully someday buy that house on the lake? Or is it something that you can save up and go out and enjoy things? And you don't even have to use money to do that. How many of you go to work 90 hours, 40 hours, 30 hours, 20 hours a week, work your butt off doing something that you can't stand doing to pay bills, and then just sit around and complain about how you can't afford to do anything because you're paying all your bills? That's on you. Just like I said in a recent Real Talk, if you're still sitting in your past, it's not anybody in your past fault, it's your fault. It's the same thing if you're just sitting there going, well, I wish I could just get up and do what you do, but, I'm broke and blah, blah, blah. No. Now, I'm going to sound like a hypocritical or judging, and maybe a little ego is going to come out on this, but if you're working 60 hours or 40 hours a week and you're still broke, and I know bills are high, trust me, I got to pay bills like everybody else, unfortunately, in this experience. I got to pay bills. It just seems like it was built in. But if you're going and working all that, and then I ask you, why don't you go away for a night or a day, or why don't you go drive out here and go enjoy the sunset? And you say, oh, I can't do that, I can't afford it. And then I notice that you have a brand new car in your driveway, or you have a brand new TV on your wall. I'm going to call you out on that. And you should start calling yourself out on that. You need to understand, do I need that or do I want that? Because the more you buy things that you only want, the less you're going to enjoy this experience. You may enjoy it momentarily when you brought it home from the big box, but that's not going to last forever. None of it lasts forever. Money does not last forever. Jesus himself told you that all that man is going to turn to rust. Are you doing what you should be doing to enjoy this experience, or are you doing what you're doing to make it in this experience? Now, you're probably saying, well, how do I do it so I can enjoy it? You have to decide that. I can't tell you, and no other channel can either. All I can tell you is that you need to reevaluate what you're doing right now. Is the fear of society telling you that you can't enjoy your experience while you're here? And if it is, you have to figure out a way to stop listening. They're not going to tell you to go out and enjoy it. They're going to tell you, hey, go to Disney World, go do this, They're going to do things to tell you to do things to try to enjoy yourself as long as they're making money from it. But they're not going to tell you, hey, you could just go walk in the woods, or you could go camping for the weekend, or, you could do something that costs money, but they're not going to tell you that. How many of us wake up every morning and go, well, I don't want to go to work today, but I'm going to do it because someday I'm going to have a house on a lake with a white picket fence. That's great. It's good to have plans for your future. It's good to dream. It's even good to plan for that. But if that's all you're doing, you're living a scam. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, folks. I'm just trying to give you some advice that I've had to learn the hard way myself. When I get to pick up and go and do things and enjoy the now, it's because I was blessed to come across the information that allows me to do that. And that information was, do I need this or do I want this? Should I be fearful of this because I'm fearful of it, or because they're telling me that I should be fearful of it? I'm going to leave you with this. Money comes and goes. Time doesn't. I love you all. Enjoy your walk in light. You can do it without fear.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.